Hola! Welcome back to Capítulo 2A. In this lesson, we'll be learning about subject pronouns, los pronombres personales. You can find this information in your textbook, página 82. Before we talk about subject pronouns in Spanish, it's helpful to remember what a subject is. The subject of a sentence, in English, in Spanish, or in any other language, tells who or what is doing the action. If the subject is a person, we often use the name of the person to say the subject. Por ejemplo, Celia es una amiga paciente. Celia is the subject. Claudio es un estudiante trabajador. Claudio is the subject. Sometimes, instead of the name of the person, we use a subject pronoun to say the subject instead. In English, some subject pronouns are I, you, he, she, and there are a few others. This chart shows the subject pronouns in Spanish and what they mean in English. Yo means I. Tú means you. Usted is another way to say you. Él, he, ella, she. Nosotros and nosotras are ways to say we. Vosotros y vosotras are ways to say you. And ustedes is another way to say you. Ellos and ellas both mean they. Did you notice there are a lot of ways to say you in Spanish? We'll be taking a closer look at those in just a minute. You've already learned a few of these subject pronouns in a previous chapter. More specifically, you already learned the singular subject pronouns, the ones referring to the one and only yo, for example. Yo, I. Tú, you. Él, he. Ella, she. If we're referring to a boy and we already know who we're talking about, instead of saying the name, we can say él. For example, if the subject is Carlos, but we already know we're talking about Carlos, we can just say él. If the subject is a girl, we already know who we're talking about, we can say ella, she. So, back to all those different ways to say you. We only have one in English, but there are, count them, 5 in Spanish. That's because we use a different word for you, depending on whether we are talking to one person or more than one person, depending on whether we are being familiar or formal, and also depending on where in the Spanish-speaking world we are. If we are speaking to just one person, and that one person is a friend or a family member or someone younger than we are, we will usually say tú. If we're speaking to just one person, but we need to treat that person with a higher level of respect or formality, maybe it's someone significantly older than we are, we would say usted. If we're speaking to a group of people and we want to say you, your choices are ustedes, vosotros, or vosotras. Technically, ustedes is formal and vosotras or vosotras is informal. However, in the real world, ustedes is usually used to address groups of people in Latin America, and vosotros or vosotras feminine is the form used to speak to people, groups of people in Spain. Things also get a little more complicated when we mix in the gender differences when we're talking about groups of people. For plural subjects, if a group is made up of males only, or if it's a mixed gender group, we will use the masculine subject pronoun. For example, nosotros for we, vosotros for you plural in Spain, and ellos for they. We would only use the feminine plural subject pronouns if the whole group is female. Nosotras, we, feminine. Vosotras, you plural, feminine. Ellas, they, feminine. And finally, we can combine our subjects and use just one word. For example, if I want to say Silvia y yo, Silvia and I, if we already know who we're talking about, a simpler way would be to say nosotros. Or if I am also female, Silvia and I are both female, I would say nosotras for we. Claudio y yo, nosotros. Mis amigos y yo, nosotros. Mi familia y yo, nosotros. Are you getting the idea that anyone else plus y yo is the same as nosotros? The same thing works with tú. Laura y tú. Laura and you. We could say you guys or you all, ustedes, vosotros, or if it's an all-female group, vosotras. Pepe y tú. Another way to say that, Pepe and you, would be ustedes, or in España, vosotros. So here's a quick little quiz for you. ¿Cómo se dice I? Yo is the right answer. ¿Cómo se dice we? Nosotros, if it's an all masculine or mixed gender group. Nosotras, if it's an all female group. ¿Cómo se dice they? I hope you said ellos, if it's an all male or mixed gender group, or ellas, if it's an all female group. ¿Cómo se dice you if you're talking to a friend? Tú. ¿Cómo se dice you if you're talking to your principal? Usted. ¿Cómo se dice she? Ella. ¿Cómo se dice you all if you're in España? Vosotros o vosotras. ¿Cómo se dice you all if you are in Latin America? Ustedes. Please be ready to work with these subject pronouns next class and have a great day. Hasta luego, nos vemos.